nothing now. So I don't know what happened to the deed, but we can get a deed. We gonna get a deed. Because we've been living there. So this is something I need to know is this. A lot of times they have those audience, and I didn't understand what audience you all were sending out for that land. Because the first time when we tried to tear down the house, we did tear it down, and then a man that was crooked took all of the tin and everything else. And even took a chest, a big chest, and sold it, I guess. I don't know. A lot of things that was in the house. But I do know this is that land, we stayed on this boom. It would go, and if we have to have another one, we will get another one done. A survey. Because it went from the garden, it was an alley there. Never been an alley nowhere in Border, but over by where the garden and the mills. Now they got Spanish people living there in that house there on the front. And that alley went all the way back. So nobody could go there because the people would walk through there to get to where they were going. Yeah. That was back in the day. But now it's 2024. And that land been kept up for since 1942 until now. It's up. So what is the problem? I don't know what the problem is.
I think it's something we need to look into.
Can I interject and just what we're going to need is I'm going to need an address and the property ID number that you've been paying taxes on with Williamson County. Therefore, we can look at it through the Williamson County CAD and get with Williamson County
to look at the records
and find out what's going on with it.
Yeah.
And so we're up here right now. We don't even. I'm trying to find it on the map what property we're even talking about. Yes, sir, Paul. You can step on up.
Everything was fine. Yeah. Well, the map where you got in there.
Okay.
Beck messed up a whole lot of stuff, and everything was straight till Beck got in there. Now, because Beck did a lot of crooked stuff. A lot of crooked stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And while I'm up here, what I want to know is, I'll help him get his stuff right so I can come back. That way I know the street address and everything.
You know what we're talking about? Get the street address, the property ID number, and all that. That way we can kind of look at it and see what's
the
really
things
on.
that we were looking at,
Because we're extremely blind
just
right
come
here
by,
right now.
and then we can try to figure it all out.
It ought to be on the tax paper that he paid.
Yeah.
It should be on that.
Absolutely.
And when you get that tax paper and find out everything is on there, I'll get it.
Because we don't
I
know.
do have all the paper that I need, and I'm not gonna send it right now, but I have it. But it's not the deed. We want the deed. The deed is a hang up.
Yeah, deed, yeah.
And if the deed would have been recorded with Williamson County, so
That's okay. That's okay. But we're working to get our land.
And see another thing while I'm up here, how do you put a drive in an alley? That's what I want to know. How you put a drive in the alley
as far as the road,
or the road?
And which road are you? Which?
I think he means
The one
Stone.
the one on the left hand side, or the old house that's falling?
That's what I have to look at, Mr. Mathis, because in the previous administration, before I was in office,
That's what
that
I'm
was
saying.
dedicated to Stone Pack Lane. And
That's
it was filed.
How did it
I don't
become?
know.
See, that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
a great question, sir.
It shouldn't be no Stone Peg Lane, and I saw that on the agenda. I said, what is Stone Peg Lane? It ain't never been no. I used to be Salt Lake when we was kids. What everybody called it, Salt Lake. Pack did that. And Paxton messed up everything over there in Georgetown, man. I never did like him. I told people here do not vote for him. He had 17 felonies. So why you gonna vote for a man with 17 felonies? That's for your time. You ain't got nothing to do with that. I got your back.
I know, my
But
man.
I'm just telling you the truth.
I
She can
understand.
tell you about Pax. She was on council meeting.
I said out there a lot.
I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. Don't remember.
I said out there a lot of nights. That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, we do our part, but I will get that people out.
Thank y'all. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Thank y'all. Okay. Matt,
Hey, thank you, man.
absolutely. Thank y'all. Is that was all you need to say?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a safe evening. That's fine. Okay, workshop? We good for the workshop?
Yeah.
Item number 1, workshop agenda, review, discuss, and provide direction. Number 1, update, discussion on capital projects. Ms. Myra.
So we've got one of our city engineers here, Ms. Sue Hilton with MRB Group. She's gonna give y'all an update on some of the capital projects we've got going on.
My name is Sue.
You were just stuck on this last day. With that introduction. Well, I guess I will start with the most exciting one, and that is the Jackson Street Elevated Storage Tank project. As you know, last council meeting, we approved MK Painting's contract. So since then, we've had a pre-construction meeting, met with them. That happened on the 13th of March. He's in the process of sending submittals to us at this point with an anticipated construction start date of the 3rd of April. Saying that it'll take 2 weeks to complete. Cautiously optimistic that that will happen, but he's ambitious, let's put it that way. Keep our fingers crossed that he says it takes 2 weeks and he's got it done in 2 weeks. From there, we'll move on to the next phase of the project, which is a 50,000 gallon ground storage tank, which we have in the design phase currently. I would anticipate issuing plans later this week, if not early next week. With Good Friday, I might not quite hit Friday this week. Once we've had a chance to review those, look at those, then we'll be going out to bid with that. Sidewalk project, not my thing, but Solomon tells me that the design is 100% complete. But the sidewalk, we're waiting for TxDOT approval to bid that project. Once we get that approval, anticipate advertising the project in May with bids due in June. And the other one, I guess, that is on the board is the wastewater treatment plant. That one, Water Development Board is anticipating closing on the design phase of the work on the 18th of June. And then we've also submitted the project information form, or PIF, as it's known to Water Development Board, March 1st for the construction. So we won't hear ranking wise how that works until probably July, August timeframe.
And that as just, we did get it cleared up with the Texas Water Development Board. If the same project was eligible for funding again, if it was phased, and we did get clearance that that is the case. So for this project, we would be eligible, if selected,
For loan forgiveness.
for loan forgiveness. So here's hoping that we can get a little higher than last time. That's why we kind of came down on the scope for the design, because they'd only give us $1 million. And it's a $15-16 million project.
And you will get a little bit more points this way by doing the design phase first, you get more points for being shovel ready in a way. So hopefully you show up higher on the right time. So they don't run out of money. For local business this time. So. Any questions? I went through a lot, you know.
That seems good.
So on the water projects, Jackson Street, so you have phase 1, phase 2 is 50,000, and then the phase 3, is there another phase that the booster pumps?
Phase 3 is the booster pumps, which we started looking at already.
Already.
See if we can fit pumps within your existing building and how that would lay out. Curious, obviously, with the 2 vertical turbine pumps that you have in the ground, if those are reusable.
So a little information there, and Stephen could probably provide more. One valve does shut off one of those turbines. The other one, we found out from that debacle that it does not shut off, so we'd have to essentially go in, dig it, put a new valve in if we wanted to shut it off for a future project. But at least now we kind of know that one does shut off the water that's kind of coming from the prison, and then the other one we'd have to do a project on it to just get a new valve in there.
I just wonder if that'd be the best route to go, since the other infrastructure is already there.
Mhm.
We know the pumps need to be replaced and the valve needs to be replaced, but all the piping infrastructure is already there.
It's supposed to be.
Supposed to be, right?
At one point it was, and I don't see.
For the
anymore.
outside ones?
But
Yeah, this is to
originally-
turn off the water to them,
Right,
so that
right.
if we wanted to lift them up, and we could.
Makes sense.
Yeah, originally when that was all put together, the 2 outside turbines were designed to do the prison tower separately from the small tower.
Mm-hmm.
So the infrastructure should be there. We just need to verify what is there. And,
whether those vertical turbines still work.
well, I mean, but the thing is, even if.
We're
From
doubtful.
the very beginning, a year ago, we talked about, go ahead and price new pumps on there in our budget. Then we would verify if they work or not, and I haven't seen any clarification on that at all. Nor has the council, as far as I know.
Yeah, we haven't seen any pricing on the turbines at all,
The vertical.
verticals.
Yeah, and we approved this, what, a year and a half ago,
Yeah,
to go
about.
through this process.
Yeah, it seems like it keeps circling back to getting additional booster pumps inside the booster pump room when we've already got the outside infrastructure there. And so I mean, I don't know the difference between a vertical pump turbine and the turbines on the inside of the booster. But I'm just saying, if the underground infrastructure is already there, like we know it is, we know it needs some work. We know it needs some, valve replacement, the turbines replaced and stuff like that. But I feel like that's going to be a much less costly route to go than completely installing.
I have them priced new vertical turbine pumps. They're going to be more expensive than a split case pump that would be similar to what you have inside the building.
Yeah, but again, the discussion in the past was gonna be that verify, they've already pulled the motors off of those turbines, okay? They can be rebuilt potentially, all right? So we just have to verify, can we isolate them so we can pull them to get that verified? So that might be the most inexpensive route, the most cost effective. And again, we never seem to move forward to get these dadgum pumps to even verify if they're even rebuildable or not. We just keep going back, and we've been trying to do this for a year and a half.
What would be the LUE capacity on a vertical pump compared to the other pump?
It depends on the gallons per minute capacity.
Gotcha.
But all it does is just supply the water to the tower,
Right.
and that's where your LUEs come from.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
And of course, the replenishing of that, but it seems like we've just lost a whole phase of what we've been trying to do here. Yeah, and we're still trying to address something that we approved to address literally a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it's still not answered.
on the 50,000 gallon storage tank, is that how big is that thing look? I mean, I know what we have there's 400,000, so I'm trying to come up with How big is it? Is it something that's trailered in on a truck and we just flop it
It's a
over?
little bit bigger than that.
So it's built
I
on,
wanna
is it built on site or is it?
It's about 22 feet in diameter and about, you're gonna quote me on this, I wanna say.
No, I mean,
20 feet
I'm
tall.
just curious, would it be like built on site or would it
It'll be
be?
built on site.
Okay,
It's just that much too big to bring in on a trailer. And this one that we were looking at is a bolted tank. So
bolted tank.
it would be assembled on site. It's a little bit different look than what your existing one is.
Right.
Your existing one's a welded steel.
What's the lifespan of a bolted tank?
30 years, 30, 35, 40.
What's proper maintenance?
We have a contract. USG, Viola, Suez.
Okay, and that's all the questions I have. I mean, anybody else have any
I
other?
think he's right. Can we circle back to what we originally wanted to do? What we originally approved, or get answers for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the water,
Just get answers for it.
the elevated tire project's already bid and awarded and contracted. And so that one's gonna start within like the next 2 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's like first week of April it starts. And that guy, I kind of like the guy. I mean, he's
Very confident.
very confident. I mean, we tried to talk to him into more time and he's like, no, 2 weeks. I'll be done, 2 weeks. Y'all need to hurry. So he's very confident dude. I think it'll be a good project, but that one's got to happen. I mean, they've all got to happen.
Yeah.
It's just the order, you know. I mean, I was having some issues and struggling with the order that we were going in and trying to eliminate some temporary bypassing. But
I'm like Philip, I remember us talking about it.
Well, and the other thing is that from a cost aspect, the original way that we had kind of thought processed this through was that to go ahead and get the redundancy built in by isolating, getting the pumps going and getting that 50,000 gallon tank in now, because we've always known that there's been an issue with that standpipe in that little tower.
Right.
All right, we're gonna spend 20 grand for a temporary tank, that we're gonna turn around and spend more money for a 50,000 gallon tank, which we could have already had in place, and we could have saved ourselves $25,000. That's what kind of burns my britches more than anything. That we're not thinking systematically, and all of a sudden this tank having a hole in it got to be a priority and turned into some sort of a emergency, which it's been an emergency for 2 or 3 freaking years.
At least.
So the thing is that somebody's not listening, asking for, and giving us moving forward. And I'm a little ticked about it. And the thing is that when Joseph was here is when we actually approved the design for that in the beginning. Put the money forward for MRB to be able to design that redundancy, get these turbine pumps, figure out what was going on there, and get that 50,000 or 60,000 gallon tank installed, so that when we got to that standpipe replacement, we weren't spending money out of our pocket just for a temporary tank and turn right back around and put a permanent tank in. That doesn't make good sense to me. And I'm sorry, but it's just.
I guess my memory, and I can, perhaps I'm incorrect, but I thought we had a meeting at our offices where we talked about the 3 phases of the project. And right before Joseph left, that standpipe became the priority, to put that one out to bid first.
But that was not, we hadn't approved the standpipe engineering or the replacement of that at that time. We had already replaced the other, had already replaced
It's
it.
all in the same proposal.
Well, that's not how I remember it going on. I think we approved the money to get the redundancy done first, and then the standpipe was second. And I'd have to verify that, but
Was it not all in the
I'll
same
double check for you, Philip, but
No,
I think
it
it's
was
all in the
not.
same
ARPA?
proposal.
package? That was my understanding. It was all in the same ARPA package.
it's all being paid for through the ARPA dollars that we received. But I can't remember it being broke down in phases before
No.
until the bid opening for the water tower project. That was when I figured out that we were having phases. So I think old meeting when it was talked about in the water tower, the 50,000 gallon tank, and the redundancy, I think it was, I took it as one big giant project. And so whenever it came down for the bidding and the bid opening is when I saw, I came in here and saw it all in one single phase. And that's when I asked, why are we doing that phase first, not the redundancy first? And then the redundancy and the ground storage and then the elevator, because then we could have taken the elevator without. So we could have eliminated the elevator without spending the extra $20,000 in temporary money. And so just trying to use it all as permanent money because we don't have a whole lot of money to play with. And so one big project made more sense to me because, and I understand how it had to be broken down because of different contractors and stuff like that. But I just think the phasing was done improper from what I can tell on,
It seems,
but I'm not,
I think in one of the meetings, we approved $50-something thousand to do the engineering for the redundancy. From what I remembered, I may not be exactly.
I'd have to go back in a whole lot of meetings and look at that,
But somewhere it got, the
quote me.
communication really broke down, in my opinion, and we're gonna spend money that we really don't need to be spending. It's gotta be done, don't get me wrong, but we're gonna spend more than we need to. That's all I can say about that.
So for the phase
Thanks,
two,
Forrest.
do you want us to essentially hold on the ground and look at the boosters before that goes out? Is that what,
That's what was supposed to be done
well,
originally.
no, but phase one's already been,
Yeah, but
bid out.
we can't back up now.
yeah, no, but I'm
We're not
talking
spending-
about the turbine pumps. Before we go for the ground storage tank, the 50,000, does council want that essentially pushed back and the turbines done?
You take the 400,000 gallon tank offline so we can sandblast it.
Yeah.
And maintain it, maintenance it.
Yeah, because with that scenario, you're potentially gonna have another temporary tank come in just to be able to sandblast another one if we don't go ahead and get the 50,000 gallon tank in now.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
sandblast
So we're
is just,
having 40 grand in the hole.
the
Okay.
sandblast is just pretty much on hold until after.
Until that one's
the
done.
Total project's done, so I think at this point, I mean, I think we just kind of carry on with the speed we're going, I
We
think.
have to, I mean, we've started the process, we can't back off of it now.
Unless you could roll the next two phases into
I was gonna
one.
ask if you want the pumps and the tank as one project and not phase two and phase three.
I don't know why it couldn't be. That's what it was originally.
Right, yeah. Would the same people bid on that, or you think you'd have separate contractors? I mean, how would that? Or can you
You would have different contractors.
Can you
I
bid
mean,
on-
A tank,
can
a
you
tank
have
is going to be a tank manufacturer that's gonna come in
Correct,
and install
okay.
and build that.
so
Versus a pump, which is gonna be more of your Durkinsons.
so maybe we have two projects, but
Bid
they're
at the same time?
bid simultaneously or very, very close to one another?
Could be.
They could be bid very simultaneously together, or they could be bid as one package and where you would end up with, let's say, a pump manufacturing
And a sub?
contractor as the prime and the tank manufacturer as the sub.
But at some point, we've got to go there and find out what's there. Where are the valves? Where is the isolation? We go from one to the other, because it's supposed to be there, but we don't know exactly where. So that's gonna have to be explored to even understand exactly how to engineer it, in my opinion. So that's where we're gonna pothole it, we were gonna repair the valves if they need to be repaired, so that we could isolate, so that we could pull pumps, and a half ago, and we still haven't got any of that done.
Yeah, it's way before anybody that's here
Yeah,
now,
that
so
was
it kind of got
way
lost in the mix. But maybe we need like a vac trailer or something over
We're gonna
there.
need one there.
Yeah, with the
Because there's
big,
too much
because
stuff
we
in the
can't
ground.
put a backhoe in there, do we?
You'll rip everything out of there, we'll have more problems than what we started with.
A little vac trailer of some sort, so. Okay, carry on with the way you got it, but if we can try to move the pump project very close to the to the tank project. I mean, I think if you put them together as one bid, then you got a subcontractor, and then you got the GC that's gonna up cost, you know, he's gonna add 10%. So
Keep it all in one.
let's keep them separate, but very close.
Separate
Since
bids.
you're using two different contractors, like you said, if you have one contractor, he's gonna make money off both projects.
Actually, we're only paying for, NPR only pay for their project management at one time, and then the other guy's project management one time. If we do two, you're gonna do it twice, and so are these guys. So you're gonna have double project management on it if you're not careful.
That's a good point also. I don't know, I'm confused now. I'm your Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, because I mean, any engineer I've ever worked with and been digging them over the years is that every project, they're gonna stick PM time on it. So you're gonna spend more and more money on the same project for more and more PM time.
It's true.
So again, I'm not trying to demean you guys, but I just think
We don't have a lot of money, that's just,
Yeah.
we're trying to extend our dollars as far as we can. Y'all's thoughts, I mean, keep them together as one?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Either way, it sounds like, so.
Yeah, it's gonna be a cost.
So pumps and tank, one project.
Okay.
She's going down.
Seems like, man, why did I come to this one? I should have went to Leander, wherever. Trey, you're going to Bartlett next. They're mean.
Something you just broke.
We're just broke, Sue.
Banks come out and got no money.
No hate against anybody. We just broke, girl. We got too many projects. We got more things breaking around here by the minute.
There are advantages and disadvantages both ways. So,
Absolutely. Thank you for coming, Dawn. Thanks for presenting. Thank you. All right, workshop. Public hearing. Workshop's closed. Public hearing. Item number 2, hold a public hearing regarding a property located at Stone Pack Lane, lots 13, R591092 and 14, R591093, to ask for a variance of Chapter 9, Section 04.06.003, area requirements to allow for the placement of a mobile home.
Again, this is just a public hearing, so people are signed up to speak. They'll be able to speak, but we won't be able to take any action.
You can go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. So my name is Beatrice Oliver, and I love your city. I'm a real estate broker over 20-something years in the business, but the main thing is my clients here, Victor and Erica, they have family members that live here in Bartlett. They love the city. They want to be part of the community. They're always like spending a lot of the times. And there were some lots that I've been in touch also with Chad and Maida and Katie, they all know me. That my clients are very hardworking, honest people. You know, they want to be able to actually make it their home. So I helped them get and they got a loan from the bank, from a credit union, to get the lots. 2 lots, a lot and a lot and a half lot, 13 and 14. And then they already have a mobile home. They're renting somewhere else, the land. And through the journey here, we found out when we wanted to do the application that the size of the mobile home is just a little bit within a couple of feet in order for it to fit properly in the slot and a half. We would need to get a waiver that the setback is 7 feet. So that way, their trailer is able to fit in, they can make it their home. They're 100% committed to the community, and not only are they committed, they have asked other neighbors of them to join them. So even the other lots next to them, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots, they have been sold. And right now, of course, those other lots, we have future residents also that want to be part of the community. And they would just be so humble and very appreciative if you guys would consider, granting them this variance so they can actually be able to apply to be able to move their mobile home there and start making Bartlett their home.
Any questions? Just a public hearing right now, so we got, I mean, you can talk, no problems. We just can't have any action or anything, so.
So how many feet is the setback? 7 feet?
The setback, they require 10, and, you know, this one over here, we're asking to be 7. So it's not much
3
difference.
feet, yeah.
And it doesn't, there's no traffic going behind there or anything, so it doesn't preclude easements, it doesn't preclude any future traffic's coming, because it's literally the last lot there. Legally, it's called Lot 1314 South Bowie, because Bowie kind of ends, and then it goes a little bit of a dirt road, and then the county of Williamson call it Stone Pack.
Okay.
And then with the addressing of 911, you know, we were able to get the addresses there. But it's literally, it's a lot that actually all those lots are lots. They're very unique for people that really, like my clients are very hardworking, and the other ones that are already sold and we're in the same process, that they have a need, but they see the city, they want to be here, and they work so hard even for their down payment to be able to afford it and to make it their home. And like, Erika has been in her job 14 years. She works the night shift, and every little thing that they saved, and the credit union approved them to buy their lot. And now, you know, they have their mobile home that's already paid off, and all they want to do is be able to transfer it in with everything, of course, in compliance, and make it their home. So
they're trying to put the home on 1 or 2 lots?
no, it's a lot and a half.
A lot.
But
So they bought 13 and 14, so if you go down Stone Pack Lane, it's the very back 2 lots.
So 2 separate lots. That
So
lot.
13 is a full lot, and 14 was like a half a lot.
Mhm.
Do they need to be replatted as 1? or-
They will need to be replatted.
And that's another thing that I've been working with Katie and Maida for the other ones that were doing something similar. Those didn't have to have a variance, but this one specifically does, because of a half lot on 14. That would be the second step, right? After this is approved, we wanted to see, you know, with consideration, if this could be approved, and then we got everything ready for them to do the second step, which is, that process. Yeah. and
So yeah, it would have to be replatted, but I think they would ask for the variance before they
And
replat it.
then, you know, at a high view, you know, if you like vision where it is, South Bowie kind of ends and there's Brook Street, right? And then if you go straight, there's an older house there, and then the road is dirt there. There's all the slots. And they have been there for years, and the current owner that knows Shad, and I know Shad too, decided to go ahead and put them for sale. And we wanted to get opportunities to clients like this, that they have a need, but they would be good citizens. So the other ones, the lot 12, 11, 9 and 10 are already in the process of getting replat, literally in the works. That is also coming to the city. I've been working with Katie and Maida. And then lot 8 also is another one that doesn't have to be replat, but everything is being followed. So all that is gonna be, with God willing, they're gonna be occupied by good citizens that, you know, love the city.
Is that bordered by an easement on that one side?
So you actually have the Stone Pack Lane in front, and behind these lots is technically an alley.
But is there an easement on that south side of it?
On the very, past lot 14,
Yeah, I was,
that's, somewhere there's
there's a water line.
a water line that cuts through, but I think it might be underneath one of these lots.
And this is, remember, the one, the city is gonna bring in from Brook Street, they're gonna bring in the water.
The water, wastewater and wastewater.
Yeah.
trucks, yes.
And we have that agreement that the previous owner.
Had paid for the taps.
everything
Yeah.
Years
Oh,
back.
wow.
So that's the one that has.
So
everything
Eagle Eye is
set.
doing the Stone Pack, essentially extension, and the guys will build out the line for water and sewer.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, and when the whole thing with the pandemic started, the previous owner, he had paid for all the permits, but we know with the pandemic, none of us were really doing much. And that's why everything kind of stopped, but
So it's what they're asking for essentially is lot on this public hearing is lots 13 and 14, a variance in order to place a mobile home on that one property. So they're asking for the variance request would be to go from a 10-foot setbacks on the, no?
No, that's not what it is. So you have to have 15 foot from the back of the building to the fence line. And in the front, you have to have 20 foot from the front to the front of the property line. They only have 7 feet on either side.
Oh, so it's not on the outside, it's on the front and the
Yeah,
back.
it's on the front and the back. The side to side, they have enough room. It's the front and the back they don't have.
Facing Stone Pack Lane and the
Facing
out.
Stone Pack, and then to the back fence line.
Yep, that makes,
Yeah.
okay.
They would-
Now, I have the letter here, guys.
Yeah. And when this comes to y'all at the next meeting, we'll have a staff, what do we call those? A staff report, and that'll show essentially what's being asked, right? What the lot is, how it would be placed, and then what difference would be. So that way the council has all the information they need for action.
But this alley that's in the back is creating an issue, it sounds like, because it's taking up part of the property. Isn't that not the same alley the first people were talking about?
I don't know if they were referring to the road.
They're referring to Stone Pack
There we go.
because Stone Pack was an alley.
You kept saying an alley.
Yeah, because Stone Pack itself was an alley, and then.
It was dedicated as a road.
And then it was dedicated as a road by Pack.
And that's apparently been filed through the county because it
Yeah.
shows up on the county CADs as Stone Pack Lane.
So you know where our electric poles run down?
So
Well, I saw that. I could see Stone Pack, I was looking at the county map.
Yeah.
somehow,
Out on the other side of the lots, there's an alley that cut through behind those lots.
I don't know, I mean, that happened like 5,
See,
6,
none of that went
years
through
ago.
council. Pat did all
Well, I understand that, but that's what's creating the problem.
that. Yes,
Well,
yes.
one is, it, not necessarily that, it's regardless of where alleys are or where roads are, you know, within a property line, we have setbacks per our zoning ordinance. And so that's what the request is here, is to have a variance on allowing for a 7-foot and a 7-foot instead of a 15 and a 20 that is required for it. So it would need, is it 15 from the front or 20?
20 from the front.
20 from the front is then you'd be able to place the home 20 feet from the front of the property line. And then you'd need to leave 15 feet from the back of the property line to where the home sits. Their home, if placed, would have 7 feet on the back and then 7 feet on the front. And so that's what the variance is that they're requesting. It's the variance from our code, not necessarily due to alleys or roads. But they're
But
concerned.
if it's on the last lot on the end of that road, it's gonna be on every lot all the way up to the main street. You'll have the same issue.
There's no traffic there. I mean, we're willing to give you a tour if you would like. There's no traffic there. In fact, this lots would be incredibly, very, very difficult for anyone to occupy if you didn't have the right people really wanting to make Bartlett their home. They would probably sit there another 20, 30 years without being
Yeah,
occupied.
the
with
way
you
he,
guys.
the way he did those lots.
Yeah.
It's like a shotgun lot.
Yeah, and those lots are very difficult. I mean, for me, it took the bank, which is the credit
So
union,
they have to.
it took a work for them to finance it, and the other ones, actually, they were done for sale by owner. Okay, that not only the owner that owned the lots originally from the other gentleman, years ago, but because he also lives in Bartlett himself, right? And I had them for sale for over a year,
So this would be.
had calls, but no one wanted them because of how they are, right? So what I'm asking the members here is to consider my clients because these lots are 100% their location very unique. But more than being unique, the main thing about these lots are,
Is this pretty accurate what we're looking at? Lot 13, 14 Stone Pack Lane.
mhm,
So the trailer here,
mhm,
and then the other lot, 11,
Yeah.
12 would be.
straight, yeah, perfect.
I'm just gonna show.
No, no.
The way
Yeah,
those,
that's
the way those lots.
Yeah, they
the way
sit
that-
like,
Yeah, the way. he
this is
did those
Stone Pack and they
lots,
sit like
you can't
this.
build a house. You can't do anything with them.
No,
honey and everything.
That's what I'm saying. It's one lot, lot.
Right, yeah. It's, you know,
The whole street is easy.
Well,
So this is where,
That's 11 foot, so that's the future ones,
okay.
because other full-size lots, this is a lot and a half. So this one's having to go up this, it doesn't have room to.
Well, one of the things that we've done with the others is that if they're single wides, as long as they have a porch that came in-
Facing the front. Yeah, we just did that on Control.
Take it down on this side,
Yeah. Either
shift
or.
this back.
So this is the strip.
That makes more sense like that.
Is this.
Then there's Pat's house.
Okay, then I know what you're talking about.
As you go to the next house.
Because you can't do it.
You know, it's and then it's hard to get it. It's gonna get hard to get back there. That's what the road.
That's how they'll end up sitting.
That's basically it. Back here, there's another house back here. Just crop
Because we
cut off arm.
We have to put
That one bit.
Full
sewer
lot, half
taps
lot.
with cleanouts that are gonna essentially,
Full lot, half lot.
they're gonna get run over
These are gonna
every time they do a home delivery.
And they're gonna replat.
So we're gonna have to probably wait to do sewer taps, build them first, and then do
Until they get.
Parallel to the street.
because if not, then anything I deliver someone's gonna
But it's dead end street.
run over those.
As
sewer
long as
taps.
they move that, like we've done on other move back, where the porch comes off the front. And where
You know me, I'm not,
they can't fence any of this in.
Okay.
The fence will have to be behind that door.
but again, you'll see this at the next meeting.
All
Yeah.
action.
You'll see my staff report.
Is it like a?
You gotta have
And-
emergency access.
Yeah, and
As long as
then,
the porch faces the stone back home.
Yeah.
We've given variances like this in the past.
And we've given variances like this.
That should help.
I know y'all, oh no, y'all don't go on to Mr. Benitez, right? There's something Benitez has to there.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, y'all did.
Y'all let them know.
Here's the plan. Right. This is one.
And I'm gonna show you where it is. I feel like an Esper already at Bartlett. No, we never would pop up because, Williamson County did it, so we won't pop up. In fact, we
Well, it's like the guy who bought an alley, you know, the alley right by the Garrett, that said for sale forever, it was just a little strip, someone bought it, nice piece, and they could put a home on it. Oh, it's draining.
He ain't got a school.
all this one stuff are the ones that we-
He bought these two lots. This ain't one lot,
Yeah,
you have
so
a
we-
lot.
there's no stuff around.
Bigger full size.
Nobody, you know, he didn't plat it to the ordinance.
Right.
Like, y'all heard Mr. Mathis a while ago.
Yeah.
And the main thing, you know, that I wanna
He
highlight
missed a lot of
right
things.
earlier is that I had them for sale for over a year and no one could because they're so difficult. No one can build, like we said. The only thing is we have the options of mobile homes or the option to leave them empty the rest of the life of the assistance, right? Which would not be fair to the city and to them that already put all their hard work down payment.
Excuse me for interrupting, but Pat did all of this wrong,
Mhm,
and now people have been taken advantage of,
mhm.
and
Yeah.
that's where I'm upset.
Yeah,
That, what else are they gonna do? They worked hard to buy this,
yeah.
know what else are they gonna do?
And they're doing it the right way. They're
And-
coming to the
and-
city, they're asking
And
for
they're not gonna be able to
variances.
sell it, because what's the next person gonna do?
And they already have the loan and we give a huge down payment and they're making money payments with interest and stuff. And that's why like we're very proactive. So this is lot 14 and 13, right? That we're asking for the variance and the other ones like Chet show you, they're basically two lots. The mobile home are gonna be turned here horizontal. And we already are working literally on, an external vendor to do the planning. that is gonna come, that's, we're taking the proper steps that the city told us on the rest also.
I can see that they're all going to need to be replatted to one plot. So they've got two lots, a lot and a half, replatted in order to, because you can't have one house
On two
on
divided
two
lots.
different lots. And so they're all gonna have to be, all of them have to be replatted. So you're working on that with
Yeah, with
your
Kathy.
clients.
With Kathy, yeah. And so that is, in fact, today's the 25th. In 5 days, the report for lot 12 and 11 is gonna be ready. Then I'll help, because my clients don't speak a lot of English, then I'll help with submitting the application, right? That will come to you guys for that. And then after that, then the mobile home application to move physically, that would be the last step, gets approved. For this one in particular, we're asking for the variance of definitely the mobile home for your consideration. So after that, then we'll do the same thing. We'll do that replat. And then, so
once they're replatted,
You will all have to take action on those as well, just because you're planning and zoning.
on the replat, but not on the there won't be a variance need because of the size
No,
of the
no,
lot.
those meet, those meet.
none of those have a variance. Not a variance not 12 and 11 and 9 and 10 don't have a variance. They're already, literally are getting, my client's already paid the vendor's already working the replat. He's in touch continuously with Katie, and Katie has verified, yes, this is what we need, this is what we want, and so, yeah, no problem. So somebody call it the
Are we
major.
looking to replat that whole development there?
So some buyers have bought 2 lots. I think 3 have bought 2 lots.
Yeah.
And so the ones that have bought 2 lots are replatting theirs to fit their home. So 3 of them, I think, are gonna replat. And,
Yeah.
or up to 3.
Yeah, 3 of them. So they would be, with the variance approved, they would replat theirs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then after that, right now, the other ones,
Are in the
12 and 11
process.
In 9 and 10, already working in this plan.
So 6 lots to 3, basically.
And then 2 others sold. So I think it's 5 homes,
Yeah,
5 homes total.
So when these mobile homes are moved in, we put in the sewer taps and all this, is there gonna be an issue getting those mobile homes in that would damage those sewer? Do you see what I'm saying?
She's talking about the cleanouts, and we've talked internally to just essentially wait for the mobile homes to be set before we did the sewer tap, because then the cleanouts would get run over prior to.
right.
And so,
We're gonna cut, sounds like we're gonna cut sewer and water taps in half for the most part in that whole
mhm.
development.
Mhm.
So it'd be nice to know what that looks like before we actually start installing.
Yeah, no, and that's why we want to make sure that, one, where the houses are gonna sit and things of that nature. So, water will be easier, but the sewer for sure is gonna have to be houses sitting first and then doing the
Yeah.
taps.
Okay, sounds good. So it'll come back to us next month.
Yeah.
It'll come back to
This is
y'all
just a public hearing
at the next meeting, yes, so.
for action.
First meeting in April, y'all will take action on this item for variance, either to approve or deny. And, depending on that, then they'll either, get a replat or not.
Oh, that's
And then-
clip.
That's another, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
And then, just for me to understand and broaden my knowledge here, so today was a hearing, and then you guys are not gonna make a decision today, you guys have another meeting
Yes.
in the beginning of April?
Mhm. April 6th, 8th?
8th.
I should know this.
Okay,
April 8th is the council meeting. The reason we do that is council's requested, there's a process for how long a variance has to be noticed before they can hear it at a public hearing. I think it's 30 days or 14 days.
It's a process.
And then we were able to hear it, but the council likes to hear it first and then give them time at the next meeting to make the decision.
So like the next meeting would be the public hearing.
This is the
correct?
public hearing.
Oh, this is the public hearing, okay.
And then at the next meeting will be action.
Okay.
So it'll be on the regular agenda. It won't be a public hearing.
okay, great. And then again, like I said, the other ones already have literally the working process, and my clients already paid for somebody to work on the variance, right?
Mhm.
And This one, the next step would be the I'm sorry.
The replat.
The replat. This one is just the variance for them, for their mobile home to be accepted. They would be most appreciative because, right now they're paying double, right? They're paying their mortgage on the current lot, and then they're paying the rental on where they have that. And the same thing for my other ones, which are not part of this, but everything is interrelated, yeah.
Gotcha, understood. Okay, well, the next meeting is April 8th, and so it'll be on there for an action item at that meeting.
Okay, and do we need to be here April 8th too?
Yes.
Okay,
And if that meeting, because we do have eclipse that day, depending on how y'all decide on that, that'll be something that we talk about later. If that meeting does change, we will be sure to let you know.
okay. For right now, we just come the same time on April 8th here.
Yes, 6:30 is when our meeting starts.
Okay, thank you. Do you guys have any questions of
No,
Victor and Erika?
just thank y'all and we appreciate your patience.
Yeah, no, thank
We'll
you. Thank
keep,
you, appreciate it.
thank y'all, and we'll keep working on it and be on the agenda on the next meeting
Okay,
agenda.
perfect, thank you.
Okay?
Is that okay if we go?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, have a good one.
All right. We'll close at 7:27. 7:03. 7:03.
7:03. I got,
Yeah, 7:03. Perfect. I had 7:03.
that's what I had 7:02, but I was like, nah, I think it was 7:03.
All right, moving on. Regular agenda, review, discuss, and consider action. Item number 3, consideration and possible action to approve resolution 2024-0325-01 designated downtown as a blighted area.
So Mayor and Council, this item is related to that grant application for the Downtown Revitalization Program with TDA. This is a requirement to be eligible for those funds. We have to designate the area that we're seeking those funds as a blighted area. And they're very specific as to what kind of area locations are eligible, and mostly it's downtown areas. So you'll see in the second page, the map is essentially what's been zoned for us as our downtown district. And so that's where the logic was and how we did that boundary. And so you'll see on the second whereas paragraph, essentially why it would be considered a blight. And so speaking of physical deterioration of buildings and improvements, abandonment of properties, chronic high occupancy turnover rates or chronic high vacancy rates in commercial or industrial buildings, and then significant declines in property value or abnormally low property values relative to other areas in the community. So those are things that we have to just note in that to designate. And if the council wanted to have us apply for that grant, this would be a requirement of that.
It's just a grant, what do we pay on
That'd be the second item, and the recommendation there to get maximum number of points is 32. It's either 37.5, but again, that wouldn't be an impact until the next budget year if selected.
So do we really have enough criteria downtown to fulfill this?
Yes.
Even with the improvements and stuff that we've done?
Even with the improvements that are being done, the biggest one is the vacancy, right? There's a lot of vacancy downtown as far as like the commercial buildings and whatnot. And then there is physical deterioration of buildings, not just so much on what's been done with the facade improvements, but also as you look at the interiors. I know that there's been some effort to essentially bring some of those to code, but that's a significant effort. And so that's where I think you're also going to see some deterioration or essentially some loss of value because they're not essentially ready to lease.
They're not ready.
Just clarify for me, if people own those buildings, why is it not their responsibility to bring them to code?
If they decided to do a big project, yes, it would be. But as an example, there's like a building downtown where they're looking at doing some electrical and they wanted to do a very simple thing. And out of that came, hey, actually, no, y'all need to probably rewire almost everything, right? There's gonna be a bigger project before you can upgrade that panel. And so that's where it starts to come into some more improvements have to happen to bring them up to the 2018 code.
So how does a grant,
That the grant is for the grant itself is for infrastructure downtown. That's what we were talking about at the last meeting when we had the public hearing. So what I heard was parking, lighting, the water and the sewer lines downtown. But as a part of the downtown revitalization program, this is a requirement, and you have to essentially say that the area that you're asking for the funds is an area of need. And it's a Texas Department of Agriculture is who runs the grant, and their CDBG dollars.
So the grant itself is not for work
On those
on the
buildings.
buildings.
okay,
That's the
what
proper-
I'm
that's-
misunderstanding.
That's the property owner's responsibility,
That is the
or
property
the
owner's
leasee, the
It's
leasee's
for us to do
responsibility,
some improvements.
the leaser, whoever.
Yeah.
That's their responsibility. We're not touching people's buildings.
Okay. That's
Okay. This is for like, if we wanted to do the electrical upgrades downtown, fire flow upgrades downtown, like fire
Fire hydrant.
hydrants, those things,
Sidewalk.
sidewalks,
Mhm.
parking, stuff like that. This is what that's for.
Okay.
And so no, we're not renovating people's buildings. The city's not paying $37,500 to renovate any building downtown.
No,
We're talking
No,
about
It's
infrastructure.
related to your question as to why it's considered
Okay.
essentially a blighted area.
Yeah, the grant is for revitalization of your downtown district. And so it's definitely a blighted area because of the vacancies and the deterioration of the buildings. And so but we have to say by resolution that we council determine it as a blighted area in order for us to qualify to even file for the grant. Now, and the next one is,
The
she
grant
talks more about the
application.
grant application and, what the city's matches for that, stuff like that. So that's that.
So we don't have to match yours.
To get maximum points,
Where we could essentially afford it is 37.5.
Yeah.
I think the lowest was 12.515, but it really gets you almost no points.
Right.
And so if we wanted to score a little bit higher than other communities, 37.5 is where I think we'd be comfortable contributing to a project of like $500,000.
Does the grant only restricted to be used in this square though?
Yes,
because it's a
downtown.
CDBG downtown revitalization grant. It's not a CDBG grant, which is, you have a CDBG grant and you have a downtown grant. The downtown has got to be used in your downtown district. And in the CDBG, just a regular one, that's ones like we did the project underneath the railroad over here with the sewer line. And we've got, I think, one out there right now for like hydrants and valves or something like that going, so those are community development block grants. This is a community development block grant for your downtown region, trying to help
It can only
revitalize.
be used in this square.
Exactly.
Rectangle.
Yeah, which is why they asked you
Y'all have a
to
square on yours?
specify.
I have rectangle, mine's rectangle.
What are you looking at?
I have no idea.
You
This is
up on
it.
Something else, buddy.
So it's essentially from 95 to right up to like City Hall,
Okay,
because y'all had done a rezone.
yeah, perfect.
One block, north and south.
So it's like from Dalton Street to
Emma,
Emma,
Yeah.
and then basically
what is it?
47, so from Bell to
From Bell
Bell to
to Peach.
Piach. Okay,
What did you say?
Piach.
Do the grants include engineering and everything as well?
Well, that'll be a part of the scope. So,
But that'll be included.
yeah, so it'd be
Yeah.
engineering and
Yeah.
construction, yeah.
So the only cost out of the city's coffers will be $37,500,
And then our job is to keep it
and it's like a
within that scope
$500,000
of
grant.
money.
Sorry.
You need pickle juice.
37.5, you get grant.
Fix up downtown, maybe you get a masseuse downtown, I mean, you get a massage parlor downtown, work those cramps out. So there's that. I mean, you know,
So this is just applying for it.
oh, Vicky, you nailed it.
Yep.
So this is basically, this one is just saying that your downtown region is blighted.
Yeah.
Okay? This one's just saying
We
that
got
your
more
downtown
into it.
region is blighted, which means, I had to look the definition up too, because I was a little bit
It
confused.
didn't sound good. did
It was like, it basically,
No, it doesn't sound great.
Didn't sound good.
basically downtown's a ghost town.
Gotcha.
That's, you know,
And
If they don't
so
figure it out, you'll have to agree.
April,
Explain that, using that.
we got the lights working.
April 3rd, the application's due, and it's just the community profile, which is essentially, have you done all the bells and whistles? Submit. And then in August is when you submit for project. But this is what I guess they divided it into 2 phases this year based on different feedback that they had gotten over time.
I just need a motion or a,
Okay. Go
You gonna
ahead.
do it?
are you my man?
Let's see it.
Are you?
Okay, I'm gonna, let's approve resolution 2024-0325-01.
Ms. Cooper's got a motion on the table.
Do I need to read anything else?
Jesse Luna had jumped out of his chair. We were seconding that. All in favor? That carries 5-0. We are a blighted community now.
I think we've been called worse.
So then Lenny would just be lighted now.
Yeah.
Be lighted. That's kind of like delighted. All right, moving on. Item number 4. Man, you guys are just
Rolling now.
moving so fast. Whew. Item 4, consideration possible action to approve resolution 2024-032502, authorizing the submission of a Texas Community Development Block Grant Program application to the Texas Department of Agriculture, for the downtown revitalization program. So this, like we just talked about,
This is the formal application
This is-
authorization.
so we,
All right.
I'll make that motion.
man, look at that. Man, we are moving down.
2024-0325-02, authorizing the submission of a Texas Community Development Block Grant Program for the application to the Texas Department of Agriculture for the Towntown Revitalization Program.
So we've got a motion on the table. Shelton Gilmore has seconded that.
Say it 3 times.
All in favor of that? That does carry 5-0. See? Yeah. We were blighted, and now we don't want to be blighted no more.
Give us
We're gonna do something to
funds.
fix that. I like it.
I'm glad.
Unblighted. Give me your unblighted attention. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
It was the pies.
It was the pie. So, consideration and possible action, that's item number 5. Consideration and possible action on the city's operation hours for the solar eclipse event on April 8th, 2024. Can't we just give everybody glasses, come and go outside for 15 minutes?
We could, but then what they're saying is, I talked to Granger. And I said, hey, I hear that y'all are expecting about 30,000 people. Sure enough. And I said, where in the world you gonna put them? She said, we have events all weekend.
I think out of downtown.
So even in my head, I called my son and I said, I can't even put 30,000 people out there. How many, just off the top of your head, show up to the Corn Fest? He goes, I don't know, 2,000, something like that. Y'all know what a mess that can be at night. And then I said to myself, okay, what if it's not 30,000? What if it's just 10,000? Where are you gonna put them? And my son said, yeah, we've already been alerted. There's gonna be people pulling off in pastures, their hot cars, and we're gonna get fire calls, blah, blah, blah. They're saying phones are gonna be affected, all this kind of stuff. I say keep our people at home, let them watch it from the house. They don't live here, they're gonna have to drive in. And we don't know what to expect. Maybe there's not gonna be a soul that shows up. Maybe
No,
nobody
they're
shows
It's
up.
supposed to be.
There it goes.
It-
I don't know if it's.
That's what I saw today.
How many?
Vernon,
Oh, really?
Vernon, LBJ, and they live out there. They said, my boss ain't, I'm not even coming in, I'll be out there whenever, while we come in. I'd rather be watching my house.
I know.
We also had a council meeting that night.
Yeah.
On the 8th.
This thing will be over by 1:37 p.m.
So will the vehicles be gone?
Listen, I
Well, hopefully
agree.
those
I mean,
people
I'm
that come and see
sitting
it
here.
here, they'll just chase it all the way across, they'll be out here in 3 or 4 minutes.
Well, I mean, I'm just wondering, Granger, you don't even have the police staff to handle this. I mean, do
We
y'all
can't say
know,
that, because we don't either.
do y'all realize the ambulance situation that Bell County is already in? I mean, it's just gonna be,
I saw they were
They're
looking for,
really, the EMS services are really concerned about the communications.
yes.
They're
very.
really concerned because of the influx of people here.
I saw they were looking for a name for a new coffee drink over there at that.
Oh, yeah.
Place over there in
It's all-
Granger? I was like, how about overreaction? That's a good one.
Well, and I'm sitting here, exactly.
That's what I
That's
was
exactly what I said.
Yeah, I was waiting
Yeah.
for all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even wrap my head around 10,000
Yeah,
people.
the Tower of the Americas was supposed to fall in 1962.
That's right. He's all gonna go here. Well, that's just, that's it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What if they come in and phones don't work?
Or
They're
if
just
they
sitting
don't.
here.
I had one day with mine not working, I promise.
Thank you. Yeah. But I just feel like
What do you want, Ms. Cooper? You want
I
them to
want the
have,
office to be, I want the city to be closed. We can have our on-call people on call. If they'll answer the dang phone.
We're
if it's-
fixing it.
works.
We're fixing it.
Okay,
I
thank
have a
you.
question with that. Are we
Yes,
gonna, is it a day off with pay?
Well, okay.
That's up to the council.
Yeah, and if it is a day off with pay, if we have an emergency, then we're paying overtime for a day they should have already been working.
So you're not for the day off?
No.
are you? I didn't think so.
I've been working for a company my whole life that you take off a whole day for 4 minutes.
Well, I know what you're saying. I just,
Well, if you want your day off, you want a day off, keep that, whatever, use your vacation to get paid for that day. Because that's what we're doing. I'm off.
I think the
That's what we have to
concern,
do.
I think the concern
That's
then,
what we gotta do.
then
That's what we're doing.
becomes-
If you're gonna take off, use vacation
You
day.
don't work that day, you have to go.
if the council wants to close that day and that's the direction of council and you don't want to do vacation time for it, then we can certainly give employees the opportunity to use leave to essentially use it for that. And then if they choose not to, then it would be leave without pay.
Yeah.
My only concern is if you make it, take off if you want to, then I may only have one person working. And then, if you're gonna close it, we can work with leave without pay or vacation leave. But I wouldn't make it voluntary because then I may only have one person here. And
You and Brenda, what's wrong?
Brenda will be
The other part of
home.
that.
Brenda's already planning on using her
If
leave.
you close it without pay, then you
My
cut
husband's
them
not gonna let me
a day
drive
short on the
that day.
paycheck.
Traffic is the issue.
on a decision we're making.
do what I say again.
If we close it without pay,
They can use their
We're good.
vacation time.
I know, but if we close it without pay,
Mhm.
say they didn't have vacation time.
Well.
We're cutting them a day short
Yeah,
of pay
you're
on their
right.
paycheck on a decision we're making, and it's not even gonna affect us here.
well, you've got it in the budget to pay them for that day. But I just think it's a silly freaking paid day off. It's like,
It's one of those, you're either gonna look silly for doing it or
Let's-
silly for not doing it.
Exactly. I can't imagine what it's gonna be. I can't get that in here. No, there's no way that we're gonna have even 1,000 people show up here in Bartlett. I mean, that's what I'm saying to myself.
you ain't even gonna remember what day it is. You're gonna be,
April the 8th.
you'll be
I
asleep.
went out last night when it's told dark, there wasn't hardly anybody. in
I
town.
was gonna say, there was a riot on your street. You didn't
was
know
dark.
it was happening.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I mean,
that.
organizations-
I'm not out there.
Organizations are doing it very different. I think Williamson County is elected to stay open. They have not issued a disaster deck. Bell County did issue a disaster declaration. They're giving their people the time off.
The school is
I
closed.
know most schools are closed, but
Come
that,
on.
Yeah, they
Right,
closed
don't-
the job.
don't-
Come on.
Don't.
the cities are?
Nice.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that Granger was closed. I know the city of
It's
Holland,
not closed.
Well, that's what was in the paper.
Oh, is it? Well,
The
they're
local
having,
paper.
they're having stuff all
City of
weekend.
Holland's taking action tonight. I don't know where they're headed, if they're closing or not, but I mean, everyone's kind of taking it differently. And I know I've sat in a few meetings with the Rural Transportation Authority, and when they said the numbers, I thought, y'all are absolutely crazy. There's no way people are coming to this part. It's such a long range of America that's being affected, but for some reason, they're projecting an insane amount of people, so.
Every area you hear about, they're in the dead center of the main path.
Yeah.
We are all the way up to Brady, they are.
Or Marble Falls.
And it ain't gonna be that wide.
Yeah. And there's stuff to do.
You know
there.
what, it's gonna be a
Nothing to do
thunderstorm
here.
that day, so
Yeah,
nobody gonna.
everybody's gonna get up, it's gonna be storming, and ain't nobody seeing.
Yeah.
It'll get dark in the middle of the rain.
Yeah. Well, the clouds getting really dark.
But I do know that people are concerned about cell service because, you know, you go to a festival and God forbid, there's more than 1,000 people there.
Tires get
No one
jammed.
has cell service.
Tires get jammed.
So if the city's off, what does it have to do with that? Is it gonna be work if the city is closed or not? The cell
Absolutely.
work's gonna work?
That's why you use a CB radio.
We use a lot of cell.
The other side, the other side of that is, if we have emergencies, how we gonna get a hold of our employees if they're not here?
We're gonna have Myra and Brenda and Katie over there working, and we'll have Stephen out there working the field.
He'll be out home right here, so cell phones will work.
That's right.
I'll have my headrest radio.
Y'all do whatever y'all want. I don't
Yeah.
care.
And that'll-
I'll probably take a vacation day. Stay at home. But I have to go to Austin.
I'm gonna go ahead,
Not
this
down
may not,
anyway.
this may not fly, but I'm gonna go ahead and say, can we close the city operation hours for the solar eclipse event on April 8th, 2024?
So is that a motion?
Is that a motion? Yes.
Miss,
Whoa. What about the council meeting? We're gonna have it or we're not having it? I'm always included in there too.
What?
We're gonna have a council meeting?
That's up to y'all as to whether you want to have it, not have it, move it up a week, move it back a week. It's up to the council on how you decide to do that.
Well, we all live in town, we can have it that night. I can work my way over here.
You think we'd be safe getting in and out of the streets?
I don't know, I can work my way over here if I want.
no, we'll pick you up. We've seen you walk.
See if I can break a hip this next time.
This many people, if she falls, she'll fall on somebody.
All right. Ms. Cooper has a motion on the table to close the city offices on April 8th.
But, wait a minute, but what is it you do? I mean, like if we have like an emergency, the on-call people are still on call.
Okay, so is this gonna be a day off with pay, without pay?
It's a day off with pay. I'm just going to jump on out there.
Okay,
It's a day off with pay. Boom.
So we're gonna pay overtime to everybody that comes in.
So if there's a water leak that day, we got a blowout and we got to call the crew in, five guys, we're paying them.
And for the cleanup
Damn
holiday,
straight.
is it
Damn
time and a
straight. It's
half or
April
is it
8th and
double
it's
time
the
that day?
eclipse. and
We're
it
gonna
only
treat
comes
this like a
through
freeze, huh? We're gonna treat,
800 and some odd years, so that's how we do it.
How many have you seen, Mr. Jones?
there's a Ms. Cooper motion on the
So it's
table.
either go pass or fail. Let's let
Ms.
her
Cooper's got a
go.
motion
Let
on
her
the table to give everybody the farm, all
rip.
right?
Let her rip.
Ms. Cooper's got a motion on the table for a paid day off on April 8th for city employees. Do we have a second?
Jesse, you don't have to look around. You can make your decision. Come on now.
Do we have a second? Going once? Going twice? Our motion fails.
Okay, that's what I put down here is motion fails.
Motion
Okay.
fails. I mean, it didn't even like get a,
Well, I think you still have to take I don't know if you still have to take official action.
it didn't get seconded.
No, the motion, yeah, that's true. So I guess if I don't know, I've always seen where they still make a motion. to
We never had this happen
deny.
before.
Yeah, we don't, yeah. we never
I
had
still
this
always see a
happen.
motion to deny, even though if a motion does fail,
Does it have to go to vote and just fail to vote then?
essentially.
But it wasn't seconded.
Well, somebody.
No. If someone has to then make a motion to deny.
Make a motion to deny.
I'll make the motion to deny.
Mr. Weaver's got a motion to deny on the table.
Yeah.
Mean old man.
I'll say that.
Another mean old man.
So Weaver,
I see, you take it, don't feel better.
That's right.
I'll second.
Oh, I'm there.
Mr. Weaver's got a
I'm renting
motion.
out my property.
Mr. Weaver's got a motion to deny on the table with a J Loon a second. All in favor of that one,
So you're taking the.
4, all against. One pass. Motion to deny, 4-1. So-
You go ahead and take off that day.
Huh?
You go ahead and take off. that
I'm going to, I've got my glasses already, I'm ready to see this.
So what happens if we all
Hey,
take
hey.
vacation days and the city's closed?
Hey, Shelton.
I'll be there.
Man,
What about city clerk?
Is it vanilla or chocolate?
Everybody gonna be calling in sick on April 8th.
I'll be here. Don't worry about it.
All right, item number 6. That was fun. Consideration and possible action to allow for vacation carryover for police department due to personnel vacancy.
What'd you say?
Consideration and possible action to allow for vacation carryover for police department due to personnel vacancy.
About to say, where's the chief?
Yeah, he had to run off. There's an emergency call in town, so he had to run.
Can we put this towards the end so maybe he can come back
Y'all want to
and
relocate this?
talk
one?
for himself? I think we should.
Okay.
I don't know if everybody's for that, but it's his vacation time that he can possibly lose or carry over. And I think he needs to be
So
able
he
to
can
talk.
explain it to us better.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he needs to be able to talk for himself.
Well, he's not even the one asking for this. He did not ask for this to be on the agenda. This is me asking for it to be on the agenda. But okay, so we're gonna move item number 6 to the end and see if Chief makes it back. Okay, we'll move to item number 7, consideration of possible action to increase salary range on posting for vacant police officer position. And so we've talked about this in a time or two. We're not getting a whole lot of applicants right now with our posted with our posted 52, 42,
30 something probably. They're getting paid $20 an hour right now.
$20 or 27 cents an hour. We're not getting a whole lot of, honestly, we're not getting any applicants at $20 or 27 cents an hour. So I've asked to bring this back. Myra sent this to you earlier in the week. It's the same table we had last go around. My recommendation on this, guys, and I mean, I'm just the mayor, y'all can vote however, make your own motions however y'all please. After doing a little research and looking at this table, I think we need a pay range when we post this position. And I think the lowest needs to be at least $26 an hour, up to possibly $31 an hour. And I think because if you get a rookie officer or a 1-year officer, you're going to start him lower than you're going to start a 15-year officer.
55 to 60 range.
About 55
Yeah,
around
so
65.
That,
65.
in order for us to stay semi-competitive with the region, with towns our size, from what I'm seeing here, and these are old numbers, honestly, guys. These are just like what was either provided by the city administration from these cities or pulled offline, off the tables online on TML and stuff like that. We know that Holland's on here. We know Holland on here is and Granger's is even higher than what they've got posted on here, and so we know those for a fact. So my thoughts are do a pay scale $26 to $31 an hour, and I think if you want to retain the officer that we do have, we have an officer and a chief right now. We did get an official resignation letter from I guess today was his last day, right?
Mm-hmm.
From Officer Clayton. He's officially starting in Holland on the 28th. Today was his last day here in Bartlett. Hadn't worked in 2+ weeks. It's been up vacation time. But if we want to retain Swacky, then I think we're going to also need, my recommendation would be to also
Increase it at the same percentage.
immediately, because other agencies are reaching out to these guys because they know what they make. Other agencies are reaching out to them.
So as an additional, to finish out this budget year, like what was it, 14,000 a year, over and above what we've already got budgeted per position.
Mm-hmm.
And then next year it would be basically.
The full amount, yeah, the
The full
full
amount.
Yes, sir.
encumbrance.
So it's just one of those positions that's super hard to hire, like linemen.
And we may not find anybody even by raising.
Exactly.
Well, and I'll say
Chad,
this,
since you brought that up, what was the pay range for the lineman?
$25 to $50 an hour, I think.
Okay.
Or was it 35 to
it was 35
I
to,
don't think 25 was on.
30.
I'm talking about the lineman now, not the helper.
it was like 35.
35 to
40.
50.
Okay.
And we got a
Let's
few.
put more hours in, you know. These guys are protecting our community.
Yeah, straight up agree. It's just, their job's just as dangerous as the linemen's. I mean, linemen's, you never know. Like
And-
Well, the difference is the lineman can control what's going to happen to him if he minds, if he's paying attention.
and the type
The
of call he
policeman
just,
doesn't.
No.
He's at the mercy of who the other guy is.
And the people that have been interested in applying for this position, because of where the salary is and because they know that we've only got 2 officers and obviously we need more officers, have been people who really aren't even eligible to become police officers right now because they've got active cases with the Department of Justice.
Well,
really?
when you pay the lowest, you scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah,
Yes, that's it.
you know what you pay for.
So,
That's right.
so I just,
All
know
the things
Chief-
we waste money on.
I know Chief wanted to be here and talk about this, but my recommendation would be a pay range, a pay scale, at lowest raise it to $26 an hour. We're at $20.27 right now.
The first time I heard that.
That officer's been here 8 years.
8 years.
You
And
know.
the skill also, and I know he's got quite a few,
Certifications.
certifications.
He's
and things
master
like that.
peace officer.
Do we need to address that in the solicitation for that as well?
We can definitely, I think we do add that we have certification pay in there, but I'll confirm. Because that's that gets paid out separately.
That's what's going to determine where you fall within the range of the.
Yeah,
If you
because
have the certification, you get an additional amount per
the
month.
chief wanted that range, so as he was hiring, he could.
Yeah.
You know.
Some
Yeah, depending on
negotiation.
qualifications,
You're not gonna
essentially.
have all apples, you're gonna have some that are real shiny apples.
Yeah,
And so if the council does decide to move forward with a pay range of 26 to 31, and then essentially immediately have an impact to the current police officer, I'd also like to know where y'all want to fall on that, so I can essentially update it
I
within
think
our
we
system.
almost have to.
And we can do, and again, this is going to be part of the mid-year budget amendment, and we can bring that back when we have that number, because then that helps me as well understand what the fiscal impact is.
So are we doing like a pay range? And then chief gets to assign what Schwarkey gets? Is that what we're doing?
It's up to you as the council.
Or we
Essentially,
set him at this pay? I mean, I think we need to do the pay range and let chief set him at the pay range.
Well, I agree. I think we need to be careful with if we decide to take Swati up to an amount and then we hire somebody at more than that is coming in, that's gonna create a problem.
Mhm.
So we need to really look at what his certifications are and try to,
Yeah, he's a master.
He's a master's peace officer,
Master
code
peace officer
enforcement
certified.
officer.
The only thing is, I would recommend the chief, if he was here, to not set him at $31 an hour, because right now, he's
Gives him
just
leeway.
an officer. He's not a sergeant.
Right.
I mean, he's not a corporal, he's not a sergeant. And so he's got rooms to move up.
Right.
So we don't want to put him at 31 and then move him up, and it's just basically just a $0 dollar advancement, you know what I'm saying? So I would recommend the chief on the $28, $29 range.
yeah, that's a big jump.
It's a
It
huge
is.
jump. I think it's
From
enough.
21?
I mean, even here, it was gonna be a 20% jump if we moved him to 26, so imagine adding another $2.
Is that,
What did you say?
Is that enough to keep him?
I didn't get all that.
So in here, whenever we did the study, right, from $20, what we recommended was moving him up to 26. Whenever this was first presented a few months ago, that was almost 21% increase, because they're almost 21% behind market. That's how below market we currently are on salaries for police officers. For similar sized cities, and albeit, like the mayor said, we already know that Holland's probably paying more, and Granger's probably already paying more than when we pulled this data.
They have to. just like
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah, they're having, just to get guys.
Yeah.
And other agencies are reaching out to these guys, our guys, because they know what our guys make. It's public information. They know what our guys make. I mean, and now we're not just competing with fellow neighboring city police departments.
Counties and all.
You're competing with counties, and you're competing now mainly with ISDs, because ISDs are creating their own police force because they have to have.
Less responsibility and more money.
Yeah, exactly. And
A
so,
lot more money.
and they're offering buku's dollars. Like Waco ISD is flirting with Swauketon right now, and I'm trying not to go down to one police officer here. That's why my recommendations would be to bump him up to whatever we decide immediately. And that next meeting, we do that mid-year.
We have to.
yeah.
I mean, or we're gonna,
Yeah,
Because
because
Blue
we're
Will Smith said,
And Waco ISD's paying pretty good, guys, I'll just tell
You
you.
look at that, say, what, you're soliciting for more than I'm making already, and
And he's also about to be a parent, so, you know,
Yeah.
even more strain on his resources.
same way, yeah.
Yeah, Swakey's wife is doing May. He just got married, what, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago? And, they're expecting their first child in May, so his first child, her first
Child care ain't
child.
cheap.
So, we'll lose him for a couple weeks just on maternity
I
leave.
think this is-
I think it's called paternity.
Paternity, I'm sorry.
Man-ternity. We should put that as a policy.
Yeah,
We'll put
Ask
that-
Robin, can we put man-ternity?
I'll expect too, that, I mean, if we hire some other police officers, he'll be the first candidate to move up to sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
Swakey.
But then with more pay as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I say don't set him at 31, we'll set him at a couple dollars lower.
Yeah.
Because he'll
And-
go corporal first and then sergeant.
And as the police department grows with our community, we can then start looking at steps and, you know, a formal actual, you know, salary range for police officer, for lieutenant, for
But I could
sergeant.
never figure out in Bart that we had Chief Holt, and then you had Sergeant Hernandez, who was just a peace officer, and then you had Corporal Clayton, who was, no, he was just like advanced peace officer, and then you had Officer Swakey, who's master peace officer. Like, shouldn't this be Sergeant Swakey? You know, just
So the thing is,
all of
The
it.
titles don't always tell you the skill level.
you're not gonna get any more out of him, other than he's gonna get a pay raise. He's still gonna do exactly what he's been doing.
He stepped it up a lot here.
Oh, he's been stepping up a lot. A lot of overtime.
But I mean.
Haven't you heard about the new cop we have?
People think-
To the house the other day.
We got a new cop.
Yeah.
He's been here 8 years. And everybody calls him the new cop.
But we're really just looking to retain him as much as anything.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal. That's,
Yeah.
because guys, it's hard to hire. I mean, it's a 3-month process. There's so much background that has to go into it.
Yeah.
So if we had an applicant tonight, we were voting to hire him, it should take us 3 months to put him on the streets.
Well, and then even longer to ride solo
Yeah.
before
I
they
mean,
could be comfortable with.
So it's like, there's so much background involved.
Well, you know, what
But one
I
thing that
have,
could help us in that too, that some people are doing, is look into a sign-on bonus.
is looking to what?
A sign-on
Sign-on
bonus.
bonus, that's what some of these counties are doing.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of
The
work
thing,
out there.
the thing of
for
it
work.
is, Bell County's not coming and Wilco's not coming unless you shoot me and I'm bleeding to death, okay?
Well, that's.
They're not coming.
Maybe.
They're only taking priority one.
We can't call them because the eclipse killed all the phones.
You need to hush.
The guys say traffic's too thick. There's 30,000 people in Granger.
Well, I mean, I can't imagine, I'm the same way, I can't imagine how many people.
Sorry, yeah,
I'm
brother.
gonna wake up and then it's gonna be
I'll be honest with you,
I'm gonna find you.
They're out there working, they're awesome. If you had one of your top guys that was one of your lead guys, and you told him he was gonna pay $26 an hour, he'd be gone.
He'd probably be ecstatic. I'd probably pay him less than that right now.
I mean, I don't
They
have-
probably make money on their vehicle allowance.
So what do you think he needs to be at?
I don't know all his skills, but I'm telling you, $26 in today's work market, it's not even money.
Yes.
I
It's not very good at all. I mean, it's really not.
would say,
I don't know, apprentices, first-year apprentices are making more than that.
yeah, I would say to take it up closer to that 30 and then see where we get in the hiring board. And if we hire somebody else, then we also have the opportunity to bring him up to at least equal if we have to hire somebody more than that.
I agree, he's gotta be retained.
There's still no guarantee with that anyway.
So what I'm
It's not
hearing
just-
is 30.
It's not just on retaining him, it's on trying to hire somebody
Right.
else.
Yeah.
But we wanna retain what we've got, you know, what I like about Chief and Swakey and Clayton, they've been here so long, they know who the problem people are, they know right where they are. It's,
They know where everybody lives. They know everybody.
They know
Nowadays, we're getting a lot of new people in town.
that's true.
But
And now with code enforcement, Schwacky's taken on the bigger brunt of that. And so he's done, as an example, today they were sending out 20 letters of non-compliant homes.
That's a big deal.
you send them out today, you got to follow up on them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a process. I mean,
And the reason we
you
did
can't
them
just send out the
today is
letter
because we have the April 6th
That's
event,
the
hoping that they'll leverage that and throw away some of the junk.
I say he needs to go to at least 30.
No, this motion is
We're not,
to,
we're not gonna set the rate, that's.
We're not saying, we're letting.
I think we allow the chief to set the rate.
Okay.
We're giving the range to.
Department head, he knows his qualifications and everything like that. I will talk to the chief and advise him, don't set it at the top, the max, set it to where we can move him up. As you hire the next guy,
Okay.
you can move him up, if he's your man to move up the ladder.
Can we just make it on the up and up? We set the range, he makes a recommendation and we approve.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So we set the range, y'all can do 26 to 31, y'all can do 30 to 36, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's y'all's
I
decision.
think we need to get up to 35 on top.
That's your guys. Y'all make that decision, right? But I think in order for us to attract applicants,
That's 72, 80 a year.
to attract applicants, we gotta do something. To attract applicants, we gotta do something. We gotta, and we gotta retain. And so that's just my two recommendations is, so you guys discuss
Huh?
discuss, and make a motion.
We're gonna set the range is what we need to do?
Yeah, you make a motion to approve.
27 to 35.
Yeah, I'm making sure I heard you talking about
The
Did
27
you make a
automatic.
motion?
I'm not sure how you want me to word it, but
You can just say, I make a motion to set the range to, and then whatever that number is.
I'll make a motion that we set the police officer's range from 27 to 35.
I'll
Did you
second
ready?
that.
Second.
I already did that. You don't have to step it up, Gail. Come on now.
First one.
Couldn't see you, the lights went.
Okay, so hold on. So your motion is to set the range.
From 27 to 35.
Where,
27 to 35?
where's the chief at now?
He's at,
That's good.
40,
Like right now, or like,
He's at 40.
40 an hour.
That's right, okay.
And we can't affect this because he's under contract.
I mean, council can amend the contract, right? Or, yeah, I think within it, you can provide bonuses or increase salaries.
so is your motion to also include current officer
Yes.
immediate raise? Upon-
Internally, we can work on that. You don't have to make a motion
Okay,
here.
upon the budget amendment approval, right? Because we got to
Yeah.
do the mid-year budget amendment in order to,
You can
Dedicate that.
essentially spend the money now and then just rectify it with the mid-year budget amendment. Budget amendments essentially are kind of a cleanup.
We probably need to do
What's that?
that. We probably need to do that.
We will be.
I mean, spend it now because
Yeah.
we need to do it pretty quick.
So essentially, as soon as the chief gives me here's the number that we're thinking, we can implement it in the system.
okay, I like it. Okay, so we have a range from $27 to $35 an hour motion. Shelton's got the motion, you got the second, all in favor? Carries 5-0. Thank you, guys, thank y'all, because that's really gonna
It's gonna help a lot.
help track and retain. Item number 8, consideration of possible action to approve Metro Fort Law Firm to review and provide recommendations to update personnel policy for an amount not to exceed $2,500. So last meeting, Myra brought the personnel policy changes to the city, sent the email to Robin Cross at our HR lawyer. I stepped in and I just asked her to provide us with a proposal of a not to exceed, to rewrite that. And we do need to redo some of this. And there's some things on there that's passed recently in the legislature
It's on
laws.
this.
It's on the papers there that we do need to include in our new personnel policy. So just asking for a not to exceed amount of 2,500. I just wanted to make sure that you guys, we're just going to give our attorney a blank check to run with, so we just wanted to get an NTE.
And she said she could turn it around pretty quickly. But she was gonna be on,
She's got a template in place.
she was gonna be on leave. She had a death in the family, but she did say that she can, once that's kind of settled, she can turn it around pretty quickly.
So I think you gave direction last time for Myra to reach out to her and have her do it rather than Myra do it, just because of the way it looks.
It takes you out of the picture.
Well, and then
We have
there's,
the same issue we have now.
and then there's also a lot of compliance that comes in from laws that she's aware of from a human resource standpoint.
And then she'll send back her recommendations for the policy change, and you guys will have to approve it at that
So
point.
whether do it now or do it later.
this motion is just to approve
$2,500.
She's
$2,500,
not gonna exceed that amount.
not to exceed that 2,500.
I'll make that motion.
Did you have anything to say, Myra?
No,
Sorry.
no, I
I'll
think
second it.
we talked to her at length, so she understands what the scope is and she's ready.
So we have a Philip Weaver motion and a Mr. Gilmore second. All in favor? That's carries 5-0. So I think we can move back to number 6. Consideration and possible, because Chief didn't ask to have this put on here, guys. I kind of did, and I'll tell you about it. So consideration and possible action to allow for vacation carryover for police department due to personnel vacancy. So obviously, we know we're down to 2 police officers right now. And Chief, his time starts on April 30th. That's when he was hired, his hire date. And so come April 30th, he's going to lose a lot of vacation time.
April 15th.
Is it April 15th? Okay. So it's April 15th. He's either going to lose a lot of vacation time, or we could extend it or pay out, or let him lose it. The only deal is right now is like, he's not going to take off because he knows he's only got 1 officer.
Right.
And so
So if we pay him, we're not gonna pay him for the, we're gonna leave him some, right?
he'll still have, April 15th, he gets a whole nother boat.
Or
You
it
get-
starts over.
So
Yeah.
you'll see here, if y'all have this one,
It doesn't approve.
on his,
It's all at once.
yeah, the policies all at once. And it says on their anniversary date, they get, because of his tenure, it's 120 hours. And then per his contract, he gets 2 weeks additional. So it's 200 hours that he would get on April 15th. But also on April 15th, he would, because we are only allowed to carry over 80, he would lose 200. And it's my understanding that he hardly ever takes time off. And so I guess he's lost a lot of vacation time.
And like I say, he didn't even know. I had to call him and tell him I was putting this on there just because I knew he'd see his name on the agenda. But I know he had a trip planned, or they had a cruise planned over spring break, him and his wife and kids, and he canceled the trip just because he could at least walk it here by himself. I mean, I know we've had our bumps in the road in the past, but I mean, I think he's really taking care of his city and department right now. And I mean, I know he's not going to take any time off, even if we told him tonight, take some time off. I know he's just not going to leave the city unattended because he knows we're not going to get county assistance.
Well, I know for one that his wife works nights. And he'll go home and feed his kids, make sure they've done their homework, put them in bed, and he comes back and patrols till late in the night.
We've stepped
because we
in,
don't have-
Myra and myself have talked to him about with 2 officers, don't be here together, kind of like we've seen in the past. You can overlap in the afternoons a little bit, but you're catching the morning shift, the other one's catching the evening shift. You know, and I mean, and they're kind of tag teaming weekends and overnights. And so we're not 24 hours. Nowhere close to it. We'll need 4 more officers before 24-hour shifts. So, or we need 3 more officers and the chief. We need 4 officers.
I think eventually though, if we get full-time 24-hour coverage, some of their work will go down a little bit because we've got
Right.
less, they're not gonna be here if they're not being watched.
Yeah.
Right now, they know the cops scared them better than any of us.
Probably.
So.
And on this, I'm all for paying him because he is stepping up his game, but we also need to encourage all the employees to take their vacation.
We have,
All work, no
In
play.
the
We know
past,
that.
in the past, we've gone through this before, and they've let him extend, and it just makes for a bigger mess.
Because then he's got
Now he's got.
400 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
400,
we
so
know
it's
we'll get to
just,
that,
it's just a mess, you know.
but for him to be punished by losing it because he's working harder for us,
Exactly,
that's not fair.
it's exactly, yeah.
no, and we have seen some folks start taking some time off. We've been encouraging it. Jimmy took a week off.
This money was already budgeted, didn't it?
Bill took a week off. You know, we're making sure because those guys work 6-7 days a week sometimes. So I know that,
There's another one that never takes a day off.
I don't know if we'll ever maybe be able to get there to take a day off, but we can certainly encourage it.
Even when he's off, he drives around looking for.
Yeah.
But it has been something that, we've been communicating.
So basically, he gets paid for his vacation, but he gets paid if he works.
What's
Is that
that?
what we're looking at? So he basically, if he works a vacation week, he not only gets paid for the vacation days, but then you pay him additionally over the top of that.
So we could do this 3 different ways. You can extend the hours he's gonna lose until we get more officers. Then you create like an even bigger
Issue.
later on, because you got 400 hours instead of 200. And then, or you could do a payout, or a partial payout, or you can let him lose it.
No, you don't want him to lose it. You need
How many
to,
hours?
you need to pay him.
200 hours.
200 hours, Jason.
And if he
200 hours.
Yeah, it's on.
That he
this-
would
it's
lose.
on this
He's
sheet
gonna
of
get
paper.
paid for those hours he does work. So he's actually getting double time, but he's worth it because he's gonna get paid for the time he's off, time he works. He's gonna get paid for the time that he's owed to him for his
He's
vacation
also
time.
exempt from overtime.
But we need to
Yes, he is
make sure
exempt
he
from
takes
overtime.
some time off.
And he's definitely working way over 80.
Yeah.
It would be a lump sum check. So it would essentially be a lump sum check of here's your payout of leave, if that's the route council wanted to go.
At the end of the year, whatever he's had left, he needs to be paid.
So
This is a one-time deal though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get more.
Hopefully, we're
Just
not in a
because we're in
situation where we have
that's-
You'll get
2
more
officers.
Crew people on
the amount,
He had a vacation plan. He didn't feel comfortable.
the amount is $8,008.72. So
If it's 200 hours, that's 5 weeks, 40 hours.
yeah,
Pay him every 2 months, an additional 40 hours for the time that accrued. So it's not all
We
one
just
big
don't want him,
deal.
to- I just don't want him to lose that.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
we just pay him.
So I
Pay
don't know if
every
y'all
couple
want,
months, pay him 40
if
hours.
y'all want to keep discussing.
What's the difference of paying him? And then if you would have had another officer, you would have been paying that. So,
Yeah, there are gonna be some salary savings from
Yeah.
Officer Clayton.
So, yeah, there will be a salary savings. If there was another officer, then chief could take his time off, but
we want him to take that.
we
Yeah.
do.
We need to force him also
We do.
to take a.
And we're gonna get better. We're gonna get better on that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get better about,
Hey, we're gonna pay you, but next year, that's one time deal.
Well, I mean,
Understand
but
that.
I think I think this is just because of the situation we're in right now, that we can correct
and
that.
he provides us, and he provides you an hourly timesheet now, right?
Cause we don't want him to get in a situation where he needs money, so he's gonna work all that and not take the time off. You gotta encourage him to take some time off.
So you pull taxes and all out of that too, or is it 1099?
It'll
That's
be,
taxed.
it'll be taxed. It'll be FICA taxed.
Social Security tax, everything.
That's all.
It'll be included.
So the net of that'll be $5,500 or whatever.
Pay the IRS, pay all that off.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, if y'all are through discussion, I'd like to make a motion. Are we through?
Are we through this? All right. Jesse kind of had, did you listen to hear Jesse? Instead of all, I mean, you can do it however you want. Instead of doing it all one lump sum at $8,000, boom. Do it.
Incrementally.
Do it 40 hours every 2 months to get that 200 hours down.
So however y'all,
What kind of
So he
bookkeeping-
loses it on April 15th.
The deal on that is, Jesse, and I understand what you're trying to do there, but then we've got to pay for somebody to be bookkeeping all that and tracking it, or we can just pay it one time and be done with it.
And the city does have the funds to do it.
It's gonna lose it.
That's why we're gonna stop it, we're not gonna let it lose it. We just.
But if we pay it out and
It'll go past the 15.
it'll go past the 15th.
Because we're at March 25th already.
He's gonna accrue hours that we didn't pay. If we don't pay them all, he's gonna start accruing hours and be over the limit. So he'd lose them.
all right, somebody make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that Chief Holt vacation carryover from the police department due to personnel vacancy, that we pay him out for his vacation time, $8,008.72.
For this year only.
Y'all would have to, again, yeah, that's it's essentially,
Right.
only council has that power.
Get more officers than you will have.
Mhm.
So Ms. Cooper's got a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Show you come a second. All in favor? That carries 5-0. Thank you, council.
What was the count? 5-0?
5-0. All right, so now we'll move into executive session. So, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, your jacket? Ma'am?
Ma'am.
Don't forget your jacket.
Oh, thank you so much.
You bet. At this time, we'll move into, in accordance with Texas Government Code, Section 551.001. The city council will recess into executive session, close meeting to discuss the following. Item number 9, 551.086, public power utilities competitive matters. And item number 10, 551.072, deliberation regarding real property exchange. 8:22 p.m. Thank you, Stephen.
I just keep my mouth shut back here.
Do y'all want to move or y'all want to?
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I'll need to turn the
You
turn
turn,
the thing off.
Brenda, you can go ahead and turn that off.